Hi everyone, EG here. So in a moment, I'm going to do this little intro and then I'm going to show you some footage of when I went to breakfast yesterday at Tony's American Cafe. They have two locations in Toronto. They specialize in American style food. So they serve like breakfast like you would get in the United States, including pancakes, which I have not tried. And then also they serve hamburgers. They serve, I think, pizza. Anyway, they serve very American style food. Anyway, I wanted to go try it. And so I'm showing you some footage of that. So let me just tell you my review of it now. Uh, So I got a veggie omelet and I got that with toast and then I got hash browns on the side. Now I will say the hash browns were delicious. They were really well cooked, tasty. They put some seasoning on them. They really were quite good. The omelet, not so much. It was, I don't really know what was wrong with it. It was supposed to be a 3-egg omelet. It almost felt like an egg white omelet. Didn't seem like it was rich enough to be like a full egg omelet, but anyway, I don't really know what the deal was, but there were veggies in it. Everything was just kind of dry and overcooked. And anyway, I didn't complain about it. The server was really lovely. They speak English in there, as you would expect, since they are an American style restaurant. And, but anyway, I didn't say anything bad about it to him. He asked me how it was, and I said, oh, the hash browns are really good, you know, because again, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. So anyway, he came back when he brought the bill and he said, I think the omelet was probably overcooked. And I went, yeah, just a bit. I mean, it was so sweet of him to say that, you know, because it's like, wouldn't normally get a server that would admit to that, in a restaurant. So that was really nice. I asked him how the pancakes were because I would like to try those when I go back. And he said they're really good. So, I will give they serve different, they have like blueberry pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes. It's almost like a little mini IHOP. And so I had a nice breakfast overall. I mean, I ate about half the omelet, so it was, enough sustenance. And then I'm showing you some footage of just what it was like from the cab ride on the way back, where, you see kind of the central part of the city. Very nice. So anyway, I'll pick up with this in a minute after you see that footage, and we'll talk about today's topic. So let's get into today's topic. Oh, wait, I don't have a topic for today. That's what this says on the title. There's no topic. So I thought I would just do some free form, just winging it here. I just moved to the new place. It's been a little much. It's been a little stressful. I've got a lot of things to organize right now. And so I know what I want to do for some future topics, but for this particular video, which has to be up tomorrow, I really didn't have a topic. So let me just kind of wing it here. This is EG on the fly, basically. Well, the first thing I want to say is, again, what is with people who feel the need to leave such judgmental comments. Now, I know some of them are just trolls. And by the way, it doesn't bother me. There's no joy greater in my life than going in, seeing a bad comment and going, oh, I can block and delete you and hide you from the channel. And that makes me feel so good when I do it. So it doesn't get to me personally. I don't internalize anything that you guys say, okay? But I don't like the fact that these people put that out there and then all my other viewers read that and they might get offended by stuff, or they get offended for me or whatever. And we're going back to the basics of just like, I'm going to just continue blocking and deleting, but I don't understand why people are so judgmental about a 70-year-old woman traveling on a budget, trying to be honest with people about her experience. And that's the key part of this. I'm being honest about my experience. I'm not generalizing to everyone out there. I'm not telling you if you're older, don't travel. I have never said that. I've said you have to evaluate that for yourself. And I did get a couple of comments from people that said, you know, your videos have scared me. I really don't feel like I can handle that. I can't travel. I don't want to scare people. I'm not trying to tell you don't ever travel, but you may have to find a way to do it that works for you. I would not recommend what I've done to a lot of people, honestly. Honestly, I wouldn't. This has been one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's also been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done because I've pushed my limits. And that is actually good to do sometimes. At least if you're me. I can only speak for me. I've enjoyed doing this because this fits who I am. I'm a person that's always challenged myself to some degree. I have always wanted to, not give up and to have some adventure, even if it's on a small scale. I'm very cautious though. I don't do crazy adventures. I'm never going to go out and do something so risky that it's like imminently life-threatening. You're never going to see EG do that, okay? I'm never going to bungee jump. I can absolutely assure you of that. All right. I'm also never going to like skydive. There's things that I just will not do. And there's tons of things, probably a longer list of things I wouldn't do than things I would do. But the thing is that yes, was this a risk coming over here on a budget with little money and but I do have an income coming in every month. It's not like I'm just operating just on savings. I basically have an income. I wouldn't have done this if I didn't have a monthly income. Now, unfortunately, the income fluctuates a bit, so it's not guaranteed the same amount every month, and that makes it a little challenging. But I have been on a budget, and I basically know what I can spend and I can't spend. And that's why I've had to cut some things out and not do them. And that's why I keep having to, recalculate and recalibrate, because that's the nature of my situation. But does that mean I should have just sat home in a little, dingy apartment for the rest of my life till I croak? I know that's what some of you may have wanted me to do, based on some of the frankly very rude comments I got from people. But you know what? No. First of all, yeah, would it be great if I had lots of money? Absolutely. I think most people would say, oh, that'd be wonderful. You could travel in style and do anything you want and whatever. Would I learn from that? No. I can tell you I wouldn't learn anything from that. How many of you know rich people who are very privileged, who have ever changed dramatically their way of life? Probably count them on one hand, ever. Very few people, when they have a lot of money and they have a lot of comfort in life and a lot of luxury in life, they don't ever want to give that up. They don't ever want to learn anything because they get insulated from the world so much. Wow, this turned into a tirade about rich people. Who knew? And no, I don't have anything against people who are rich as long as they're good people. The point is, life to me is about being a good person. It's about being a good person, which means you don't go out of your way to try to harm other people. You don't go out of your way to try to be mean to other people. And I do try to live that way. I have tried to live that way most of my life. Have I hurt other people in my life? Yes, but most of it was very unintentional. I don't do it. I don't live my life to go, how can I make life miserable for other people? Or how can I live life so that I only focus on myself and never even think about the effect I'm going to have on other people? A person that does that is really a narcissist. If you're living your life and going, F off to other people, well, that's not cool. So we all probably, unless you're a saint, you have probably hurt other people in your life. That is the nature of living. We all do it. Hopefully, if you're a decent person, you're not doing it intentionally. Anyway, back to my original point, which is on the stream of consciousness, which is that, the thing that I advocate for on my channel is that as you're getting older in particular, you find a way to make your life as rich as possible. I don't mean rich in money. I mean rich in living, in experiences, in the depth of your life. Whether it's increasing your spirituality, increasing your knowledge, increasing your sense of adventure, whatever works for you. But I am an advocate for that because I think the worst thing that can happen as you get older is you just sit in a rocking chair on a porch. And I mean when you're still physically able. Obviously, if you're not physically able to do things anymore, that's a whole different story. I'm talking about if you're physically and mentally able to do things, that you make your life as rich as possible as you get older. You make your life as rich as possible as you get older. And by that I mean you keep living. What I'm doing right now, is it hard sometimes? Yeah, it's been hard a little more than I'd like it to have been. I'll be honest with you, as you can probably tell from my videos. But has there been moments of joy? Has there been moments where I've really enjoyed myself and I've really loved being here? Yes. And I've tried to share those as well. But it's a balancing act. You get both. But do I wish I had never done this? Gosh, no. My gosh, I'd still be sitting in that little dinky studio apartment in, Northern California, basically just marking time. Living in a senior community, which my mother often called, when she lived in one, as God's little waiting room, okay? I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing that. Will I have to do that eventually? Probably. Maybe. Not everyone has to do that and spend time in a assisted living or a nursing home or whatever in their later years. Sure, do I want great quality of life as long as I'm able to? Absolutely. But I also know the reality. I had somebody make a comment that said, well, it's like really negative to tell people they're going to be declining after 70. Really? I don't think that's negative. I think that's just reality. You're going to physically decline as you get older. It's just a fact. Can an 80-year-old be in great shape? Sure, but they're still going to decline. It's not, you can't, if you looked at people that live to be 100, they're still pretty frail. Very few 100-year-olds are out there just being able to do everything. They're sitting around most of the time. Now, maybe their minds are still sharp, which is great. But physically, no, you're going to decline. But how fast you decline depends on the things you do to your body and genetics. And some things that are just a mystery. We never know how long we've got to be physically capable and active, which is one of the reasons I did this trip now, or one of the reasons that I've looked into relocating and living in another country now, because it's not going to get any better the older I get. It's just going to get harder to do that. So people that think that that's being negative, well, you're probably sticking your head in the sand then. If you think that when you're getting old it's some sort of freaking joyride, okay, live in delusion land, because it's not. Most of you, I guarantee you, that are watching this video know that and I never know who this is attributed to. Some say it's Betty Davis, some say it's Katharine Hepburn, some say it's someone else. Anyway, but growing old isn't for sissies. It's not easy. Just felt the need to come on here, talk about again what the purpose of this channel is and what the purpose of this journey is for me. The purpose of this channel is that, in the words of people who love pets, I am looking for my forever home, okay? I am looking for a place to land. It says it on my channel banner. That is the purpose. The purpose is not, I'm never going to see the whole world. I don't have enough time left or money to be able to do that. I can see some places that I've really wanted to go, and I'm going to do that. But as far as being able to do everything, no. I have to pick and choose what is feasible and what I'm physically capable of, what I'm financially capable of, and that's what I have to do. Would I still like to live overseas, particularly in Europe? Yes, I would. I am currently researching and looking into that and trying to find a way forward through that. But it's not something that I'm going to jump to sharing until I really know exactly what I'm doing or what's possible, because I already made that mistake when I thought that I was going to be able to move to France. And I thought, you know, I filmed the video on moving to France when I'd gone and applied for the visa, and I thought, oh, this looks very positive. This looks like a done deal. I'm going to get this visa. And then I didn't. So you probably won't get an absolute from me until, you know, I'm pretty sure that what I'm doing is going to work. And trust me, I am working on it. Because, and for those of you that think that I should just go back to the US, probably not in the long run for good. It's just not. If I can find any other way to live somewhere else, I will. I will have to go back to the US this year for at least a couple of months, maybe 2-3 months. That's what I'm planning. And then from there, I'll be taking off again. So that's the tentative plan of that. But again, back to my original point, please, I hope that you get from this channel that I'm just trying to inspire you to do what you want to do. You know, if you want to stay in the beautiful, you know, I've had people share lovely descriptions of their current living situation, that they live in their perfect place in the US or Canada or something like that, and they love their life. I am so happy for you, honestly, because if that brings you joy, then that's everything. Not everybody wants to travel. Not everybody is built for traveling. Not everybody has the same wants and needs and desires about what they want to do in the world. So it's all highly individual. It's all highly individual. And so my hope for you as the viewer is to take from this that whatever your dream is, just live it to the fullest. Live it to the fullest that you can at your age, at your place in life, with your financial situation. That's my hope. So this ended up being a very, hopefully, inspirational message today. There was a little ranting involved, but anyway, that's my message for today. Until next time, be kind always and keep moving forward. Take care. Bye.